Okay, for the last video, we covered how to take a blog post from somebody that was demonstrating eCharts working with React and TypeScript. We took that, we ported it to a Create React app, and we just got it working with the different options in eCharts. So we replicated the graphs. And so we showed two things in that video. We showed how to use props in TypeScript by using this interface, or interface can be a type, they're interchangeable in TypeScript. And we saw that how an interface with these different properties, you can take one of the properties and you can make that equal to an option. So this option is of this type or interface by with the option property, and that option property is of eCharts option. So eCharts option is the eChart type that gives all the different types for how to customize and define charts. So all of these properties are used to describe all of the different graphs that eCharts produces. And so you can customize these by adding additional options here. And we did that. They kind of did that here by defining some React eCharts props, right? You can take eChart option, and you can add other things, like you're adding theme, loading. If it's loading, this is actually provided by eCharts. If it's loading or not, send back a Boolean, so you can like make a circling widget. Style is something that you can add on. There are a lot of different ways to do styles with React. So we're not going to get that into that here. And so what I want to do is take the next step, and we want to make this theme button work. So it doesn't work right now, and we want to make all of these turn dark and light. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go to where the theme button is, and we're going to add the state to make that a controlled component. So let's just do a quick demo of how that works. And so this is the click handler for the button. When we click on it, this function is going to get executed. And so let's do a console.log. And what we're going to do is we're going to show, we're going to print out what the theme is, if it's light or dark, what the status of that is. So let's do that here. Let's do a theme color. So theme color is going to be the value light or dark, and that's going to correspond to this value here. This is a mistake. This value here is going to be light or dark. And so let's type that in. Let's choose light first. Okay. Okay. You might need this later. Does that still work? Of course not. Alrighty. So let's, on each click, let's switch the theme color. So how do we do that? So if theme color if theme color equals dark, doesn't matter, dark or light, we're going to set it to light. We're going to flip to state. Light. Else dark. Question mark. So if the theme color is dark, we're going to set it to light. And if it's light, we're going to set it to dark, right? So we're going to print out the theme color. Now I'm doing this deliberately to illustrate the closure problem and how we're going to fix that. So let's run this. Where is it? Localhost 3000. Okay, so let's see our state change. Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Okay, so that seems to pivot okay. Oh, let's set theme color. Let's send that down the pike. We'll see. Got a mixture of Vim and VS Code. It's very confusing. Okay, so type string is not, well, this is actually, it's not a string. It's a, I don't know if I should put it here. Props. Theme. Okay, so let's see if it's light. Okay, so we're missing one. Okay, so you can see how this is light. It's gonna, when I hit this, it should pivot to dark, but it says light. So I did this deliberately to illustrate the stale closure problem. And so what's happening is this console.log is executing before this state is changed. So we discussed that in one of the videos. So to fix this is kind of funny. We need to add the use effect. And this use effect is only going to be here when we're debugging. We have to remove it after we're finished debugging. So now let's stick the console.log in the use effect. And let's put as a dependency array theme color, right? Okay, so this fixes our stale closer problem. And what you'll see is that as we click, it goes dark, and that corresponds to what the graph is showing, right? Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Okay, so that was good. So now we can change theme colors. We can put the different graphs in here. So let's go over his code a little bit. And so the person's code, which works, he has a couple things in here. So he commented on the post that the resize didn't work. And so I don't know what version of ECharts he was using or React, and I believe him. It was probably true for that version. That's what's so messed about with this UI work, is that the versions change so quickly. Bugs which were bugs in one version are no longer bugs later. And that, okay, so let's get rid of this because I already know that the resize works. And so that's one. Well, it's good enough. Okay, so let me think. So we're not using the loading. So, well, let's not do that. Let's look at what's happening first with console.log statements. Yeah, so let's figure out how many renders are actually taking place. It's okay if the value is stale, because we're not going to print any values of state. We just want to see how many renders there are and what order they occur. So let's do that here. All right. There's 2, 3. Okay, so they're a little bit out of sync. So it's clearly not always 1, 2, 3, right? So here, let's do it. So it's they're a little bit out of order. I saw one pop up and I got erased. It should be 1, 2, 3. Here, let's clear this out. Right. Okay, I saw 1. Yeah, so it is 1, 2, 3, and then this pops up. It's a little bit out of order. Okay, so we're cool. And so we see that each one of these use effects happens in sequence, meaning that when theme changes, it goes out and it's this is not right. Hang on a second. Where's theme? There's supposed to be a chart disposed. Okay, here. Let's fix this. That was a mistake. Okay. That was my fault. I didn't read correctly. Okay, so what happens is on the first pass through this component, after the component's mounted, if it sees theme change, it'll rerun this. And basically what's happening is every time we do a re-render, this component is recreated. When this component is recreated, the memory allocation is such that it will create memory and allocate memory, just like a new operation in C. It'll create on the heap memory for this reference variable. And then it'll dispose of it prior or right when the next render cycle starts, because it'll return a function. And so that's for the first use effect, when theme changes. Then for the second use effect, what happens when the theme changes, you lose option in settings. So he refreshes these settings after theme changes. And then he does the same thing with loading. So he's got all these permutations, which is okay because you're just debugging step by step. And so what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to strip this down to JavaScript, and we're going to remove some of this and see if we can reword this so that it's a little bit more terse. Okay, how do I stop this?